The time has come for us to admit our insignificance by making discoveries in the infinite unexplored cosmos. Only then shall we realize that we are nothing but ants in the vast state of the universe. And yet our future and our opportunities lie in the universe where the gods promised they would. Not until we have taken a look into the future shall we be strong and bold enough to investigate our past honestly and impartially. We are now going to describe what might happen on an imaginary journey to a distant star by spaceship. Yet this imaginary journey will actually become possible in just a few decades. At the moment when our spaceship is approaching the star, which is its target, the crew will undoubtedly examine planets, fix their position, undertake spectral analysis, measure forces of gravity, and calculate orbits. Lastly, they will choose the landing place, the planet whose conditions come closest to those of our Earth. If our spaceship consists solely of its payload after a journey of, shall we say, 80 light years, because all the energy supplies have been used up, the crew will have to replenish the tanks of their spacecraft with fissionable material at their goal. Let us assume then that the planet chosen to land on is similar to Earth. This assumption is by no means impossible. Let us also venture the supposition that the civilization of the planet visited is in about the same state of development as the Earth was 8,000 years ago. Naturally, our space travelers have also picked a landing site that lies close to the supply of fissionable matter. Their instruments show quickly and reliably in which mountain ranges uranium can be found. Our space travelers see beings making stone tools. They see them hunting and killing game with throwing spears. Flocks of sheep and goats are grazing on the steppe. Primitive potters are making simple household utensils. A strange sight to greet our astronauts. But what do the primitive beings on this planet think about the monstrosity that has just landed there, the figures that climbed out of it? Let us not forget that we too were semi-savages 8,000 years ago. So is it not surprising when the semi-savages who experienced this event bury their faces in the ground and dare not to raise their eyes? Until this day, they have worshipped the sun and the moon. Now something earth-shaking has happened. The gods have come down from heaven.
This is a figurine of Kachina gods. And these guys are some gods from the sky who came down. They wear weird helmets.
This one has a helmet as a head, and if you look at the whole body of it, it's as if it wears some type of a suit. This one here also has the helmet and the visor.
For the Pueblo Indians, like the Zunis, these are their sky gods that every year they have special ceremonies. People put on these special costumes and masks to reenact the coming of the gods. They really look like ancient astronauts.
If you look at the poetry and the legends and the stories from American Indian tribes in the Southwest, they have the legend of the Star People. The Star People came to Earth and seeded planet Earth, and they came on flying ships. If you speak to the elders, they will tell you that a lot of us believe in the existence of extraterrestrials.
These are timeless traditions that have been passed on through the centuries from clan to clan, from family to family, from family member to family member. And it is an oral tradition. Native peoples did not have the written word, they had the spoken word. And culturally, the spoken word is still a significant component of their daily lives and the ability to pass down the truth.
People tend to forget that we're on a planet that's 4.5 billion years old. The presence of our civilization in that vast scale of time, I mean, if I click my finger, it wouldn't even be fast enough to say, this is the time of our civilization. And to think that we're the only ones in this vast period of time, to me, is absurd.
Our galaxy, the Milky Way, has over 100 billion stars. And in our universe, we think there are more than 100 billion galaxies. So if every star had a planet with intelligent life, how many alien civilizations would we have?
if you take us as the crown of creation or the top of evolution, we look at ourselves as the greatest, the biggest. We say how incredible, unique we are in the whole universe. We forgot to learn modesty.
Each step that we take makes us a little bit less special. We used to think that we were the center of the universe as humans, and we realized, oh, all right, well, that's not true. But we're the center of the galaxy, and like, well, all right, so we're like 2/3 of the way out in a spiral arm. And then, well, at least our sun, you know, the sun is actually in the middle and the Earth goes around it, so Earth isn't even the center of that system. And so the more that we learn, we sort of, you know, it's a very humbling science.
When man first landed on the moon, our perspective on the universe changed forever.
Listen, the Eagle has landed.
We aliens who happened to go down the ladder on July 20th, 1969, we aliens were certainly part of a magnificent race. I just don't think people have a grasp for what energy it takes to go from one star to another.
This historic event raised the question: if humans can successfully navigate in space and explore other worlds, why couldn't beings from other parts of the universe have done the same? And might they have already come to Earth hundreds or perhaps thousands of years ago?
I think human past is more fantastic than we all believe. I have come to the idea that maybe extraterrestrials were on this planet.
A basic conclusion of my writings has been that those who gave mankind civilization were visitors to Earth from another planet. If I say extraterrestrials, it's a dirty word, but that's what they were.
As long as 6,000 years ago, another remarkable civilization evolved. Its people were the Sumerians, who had an extraordinarily advanced culture.
Their list of first just almost sounds like a whole list of our whole society. They had the first bicameral Congress, they had the first writing, they had the first school systems, and you know, you just go on and on and on. So you have to ask, well, where did all this come from? And I think that you need to turn to the ancient Sumerians themselves and listen very carefully to what they have to say, because what they have to say, not just in one place, but over and over and over again, is that they were taught civilization by these beings that came from the heavens to the earth.
This Sumerian cylinder seal from a Berlin museum is astonishing for several reasons. First, it depicts our solar system with the sun at the center and the planets arrayed around it, a fact not known to European science till around 300 years ago. It also shows the planet Pluto, which we didn't discover till 1930.
According to Sitchin, we were created genetically by the Anunnaki as a worker, to mine gold for them, to serve them. People out there, even if you're not a scholar, even if you're not anything, if you open your eyes a little bit to this and you start just doing your own research, you're going to find paths there that lead you to some things that are going to awaken new ideas into you. In the next few years, I think we're going to see a watershed of information that is going to absolutely rewrite every book of history. There's evidence left over this entire planet when you start thinking, and you must believe, that we are the offspring of these people. If there was a God, the God created those people before they created us. We are here because of an act of divine creation, but they were people just like us, only older, only more technically advanced. We need to rediscover that in ourselves. that we are a great civilization. We came from a great civilization. And I would tell anybody to look, open your eyes and look for it. Don't be blinded to something that's led to nothing but the slaughter of ourselves for thousands of years. And we still are at that point. We're still a warring society. When this documentary or others like it are put out there and enough people will see it, at least that will start a beacon somewhere that will start shining a little bit brighter.
Hey,